Over the last 2 decades, researchers began to seriously shed light on the relation between ownership structure and the debt financing choices. However, the large body of research on capital structure has thus far been silent on the role that multiple large shareholders, or MLS, other than the controlling owner, may play in determining debt source. Prior studies have shown that MLS have incentives and power to participate in the firm's internal decision process, which can affect firm valuation and decision-making. However, the impact of MLS on financing decisions, such as the choice of debt source, remains underexplored. Our objective is to narrow this gap by addressing 2 questions. Does the presence of MLS affect a firm's reliance on bank debt financing? And if so, does the severity of agency problems between controlling and minority shareholders affect the role of MLS in determining debt choice? Corporate finance theories emphasize that banks have a significant advantage over other types of lenders in terms of monitoring efficiency. Banks, for example, have access to private information at a lower cost when compared to other types of lenders, enabling them to closely monitor the actions of corporate insiders and to detect expropriation activities. This comparative advantage of banks in monitoring efficiency can create a conflict between controlling and minority shareholders over the choice of debt source. This may happen because controlling owners have different means to enhance their control beyond their ownership rights, which enables them to derive private benefits of control to the detriment of minority shareholders. In anticipation of bank scrutiny, self-interested controlling owners prefer public debt over bank debt to evade bank monitoring and to protect their private benefits of control. In our paper, we provide arguments that the presence of MLS can alter the impact of the controlling owner on the firm's reliance on bank debt. We used a sample covering 654 French-listed firms from 1998 to 2013 and a simultaneous equations framework, and we found that the presence of MLS beyond the controlling owner affects the firm's reliance on bank debt. Specifically, we find compelling evidence that firms with MLS tend to rely more heavily on bank debt financing, which supports the view that MLS reduced the preference of the controlling owner to avoid bank debt to protect her private benefits of control. We also provide evidence that the voting power of MLS relative to the controlling owner significantly affects the proportion of bank financing in a firm's total debt. We also found that the existence of a family or a widely held financial institution as the second largest shareholder particularly matters in explaining the firm's reliance on bank debt financing, suggesting the superior monitoring abilities of these 2 types of large shareholders. And finally, we have examined whether the severity of agency problems between controlling and minority shareholders influences the effect of the presence of MLS on debt choice. And we showed that this effect is more pronounced in firms with higher expropriation likelihood. This study provides the first rigorous evidence concerning the effect of MLS on firms' reliance on bank debt financing, which complements prior research on the role of ownership structure in determining debt choice. This paper also shows that MLS play an efficient monitoring role that has a significant impact on firms' debt choice. It also sheds light on a channel through which large shareholders influence debt choice, which adds a new dimension to our understanding of the relation between ownership structure and firm financial decisions. Based on that, this study provides managers with some clues to better understand the different mechanisms by which shareholders influence financing decisions in concentrated ownership firms. Investors also should be aware that firms with only one large shareholder are more vulnerable to conflicts between the controlling owner and minority shareholders over debt financing decisions than firms with MLS, and should regard MLS as a governance tool that mitigates these problems. Thank you.